Thank the light, everyone. I am Padan Fain.
And now you do be Bail Doman, you son of a bitch. It says it on your shirt.
That's right.
Or maybe Bail Doman is your dad. You work for him.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I'm a little Bail Doman.
Bail. I'm mini Bail. I love it. Fucking everyone. Justin got me some fucking sweet merch. I got a Bail Doman t-shirt that's dope. But the hoodie, dude, those hoodies are so they're just rad hoodies. If that hoodie had nothing on it.
Are they comfy? They look comfy.
It's real. Did you get Lisa a different one or?
No, I got her the Two Rivers Animal Control, and it's like, we no stinking badgers or whatever. But I got my hoodie, but it got sent to the old house.
Oh, that's right.
So they gave it back to UPS. It hasn't even made it back to them yet.
Oh.
So I'm just like, I just want it before it gets hot.
It's cool. It's a little, it's got like texture on the bottom that's really cool. And then the hoodie pocket, it's got the standard hoodie pocket, but then it's also got two like regular pockets that kind of sneaky pocket around the hoodie pocket with Velcro on them.
Oh, I like it.
It's fucking slick. That is my wolf brother, Justin. Welcome to our Wheel of Time podcast. We are your true source, the purest light, your companion cast, a warder, if you will, for our journey through all things Wheel of Time.
Damn right. Parched Element on the Bird app.
I am...
And what is it? What is it the kids say? Oh, Fatty the Chef on the gram.
You're not on... Oh, yeah, you're on the gram.
Got more followers on the gram than I do on the tweet.
Do you? Yeah, Twitter. I can't get anybody to look at my Twitter, man. Like,
I will say this. The people who follow on Twitter are like people and they talk. And like I interact with a lot of them. So,
yeah.
You know, or at least, you know, they're liking a tweet or something. You know, like they don't see too many that are just like, I'm just here to watch.
It's like a group text.
You voyeuristic weirdos.
Look at...
I just like I don't say stuff.
But you didn't like it. I know you said you liked it, but you didn't
but you didn't like it.
Like it.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I love that movie, dude.
It's so fucking great. Stop saying dumb shit. Oh, I'm so... So, Justin has a great clip tonight. I looked it up. I kind of did a little bit of reading on fandom. I'm so bummed. I'm so close to the end.
I'm going to be throwing you a loop because I wrote it down wrong in the notes.
Ah!
Sorry, motherfucker. Sorry.
Well, then I'm going in blind, people, so I tried. All you have to know is that I tried. The rest is all whatever. But we're going to talk some Wheel of Time tonight.
Like, keep this nerd guessing.
But I'm about 2 hours away from finishing Eye of the World. And
shut up. Okay, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, you dirty motherfuckers. Listen up. We've been neglecting Lan. And actually, Des, you're the one who pointed it out. I'm like, and I don't know why I neglected Lan. I guess I was just waiting for... Lan is one of my favorite characters, but he's really kind of a slow burn. At first, you're kind of like, this guy's kind of a stony-faced douche in the book, you know? Like, he's immediately likable in the show. Oh, you tried to kill me. It's like, immediately you're like, yeah, Lan's pimping. You get to see him fuck shit up. So you don't really get to see that in the book. Yeah, no, but like, you know, Lan's, you know he's a badass, and you've got the feeling that Moiraine's a badass after the Trolloc stuff goes down at Rand's house, and you don't really know what happens in the village of Winternight. So it was actually another thing that really just hooked me immediately from the first episode. It's like, fuck yeah. You kind of know what happened on Winternight, but you get to see what happened on Winternight, and you get to see Lan fucking shit up. You get to see Moiraine just like blowing shit out, and it's like, hell to the yes. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, Lan is immediately a favorable character. Even you kind of take a while. I mean, I'm sure you're realizing it, but to me, it was kind of like, you don't know if you can trust Moiraine at first. And like, I think Robert Jordan does a good job of that. And she's like, you're like 70-30. You're like, okay.
She's leading them to the right place, but will she do the right thing when they get there?
Right. What are her fucking motivations? Is this kind of a bait and switch type of situation or something like that? So you really are kind of like, I don't know. And like, you know, fucking Nynaeve is just like, I fucking hate you. But then she starts getting all, you know, bonered up about Lan because she, you know, he's a good dude. But you don't get to like him as fast in the books for sure. And then so by the time you're getting to the end of the Eye of the World, you really like, I loved Lan by then, you know, but it was just like, God, could you just kiss Nynaeve already? Come on. She wants you. She loves you. But he's like, nope, duty heavier than a mountain.
Yeah.
Derpa.
Do they get, I mean, is it because you've read everything I'm not getting the sense that Lan and Nynaeve are coming together like that yet. I don't know. Did I miss something, or are you, like I said, are you reading later books into what's going on now?
No, it's one of those things. It's like you can smell it a mile away from after book one. Like you can kind of see it coming. It's more like almost like a Ross and Rachel will they won't they kind of thing for a while, because you're like, they both clearly have fallen like deeply in love with each other by like book 4. That's all they can think about. Besides, when they're on a mission, their motivations are to try to like get back to each other. And even Lan's like, I can never give you what you deserve. And she's like, hey, I don't give a shit, you know, like kind of the speech that he gives her when they're after they kind of do it in the show. And so, but yeah, no, like she eventually, he's basically her warder, and they are in love. She starts wearing his ring right away around her neck with her Aes Sedai. So yeah.
All right.
I mean, you know, she's going to be the queen of Malkier someday, and a full blown Aes Sedai, emphasis on blown, yellow.
Oh, yellow?
She'll be a yellow.
Huh.
Because she's a healer. She's a healer first and foremost.
Oh, I was thinking green was healer for a second. What's green again?
Yeah, no. Green is like the battle Aja, which is what Elaine and Egwene want to be. Because they fancy themselves tough asses. Well, I mean, they are. They're bad, but they're like in their own way. Elaine is. I hope they leave the annoying stuff out about Elaine, because she has some really cool points, and like they kind of force her to front and center sometimes when she doesn't need to be. So if they skip that and stick to the best parts of her story, it's going to be a really good character arc for the show, I think.
Yes.
Anyways, I digress. Clearly.
So what are we listening to?
We're going to listen to Lan, and this is the very beginning, like literally right after the prologue in book 2. So you're going to be getting to this really quick.
Okay, no, you wrote it down, right?
Okay, cool. And I'm afraid that we may not get this, or maybe we will get like a different version of it, because this is when, you know, Rand's been away from his dad for a year now, almost, or 6 months, you know, but it's been a lot that's happened. And, you know, he doesn't have like a mentor. He's been kind of trying to figure it out on his own. And, you know, he's coming to terms with the fact that he's the dragon. And like kind of the only thing that he can kind of wrap his head around is something like workish. So he's been training with Lan daily with the sword. And Lan's trying to teach him about the borderland ways and how to be honorable but, you know, stand up for yourself and be a man on your own 2 feet, because Lan is one of the few people that knows what's coming for Rand as the dragon.
Yeah.
And he's like, and he feels for him, you know, he wants to look out for him. He cares about him. And she's like, hey, you know, that's one of the things that he always says, you know, duty's heavier than a mountain. You know, it's always easier to shirk your duty than to do what's right and to do the hard thing. But that's, you know, death is easy. Once you're dead, you don't have no fucking responsibilities.
Yeah.
Living is hard, and you have to do the right thing all the time. And so Rand was already taught that by Tam, and that's evidence to how he lets her give birth to Rand and then takes the baby when she dies. It's like he was raised by a caring, empathetic person. Even though Lan is a hard man, he's a good man, and he cares about Rand, and he cares about Perrin too, and Matt for that matter. And he wants to help him, you know? And so this is him training with Rand right after the Eye of the World, and the Emerald seat shows up in town with a bunch of Aes Sedais right at the end of this clip. I might even stop it before then, but just so you know what happens, is like she shows up and she don't leave Tar Valon for nothing. Like she'd release.
Yeah.
It's for her to leave and go all the way to the borderlands. It's a huge fucking deal. So it's like, ruh-roh, what are they going to do? Are they going to take me captive? Are they going to try to gentle me? Because, you know, Rand's still kind of fighting. Am I the dragon? You know, I'm not going to be used. I'm not going to be a false dragon like Logain, because he still is kind of like, you know, am I a pawn? You know, because, you know, that's all that Ishmael and people are whispering in his dreams, like, hey, they're just going to use you up, throw you away. You're nothing but just a token, you know, a cause for them to prove their power, basically.
So with Rand on the run and Lan severed, do you think in the show Lan could go hunt Rand down? Because he's like, well, I'm not doing anything for Moraine, so let me go help this dude.
God damn it. We should be married like you and my wife, because I just started thinking about that. I'm like, as soon as you said, do you think? And I was like, if he's severed and somehow Moraine might kind of direct him too, because she doesn't I don't know what's going to happen with her. Or, he cares so much about Nynaeve. If Moraine takes off, Lan might be sticking with Nynaeve, and she's like, you got to go find Rand.
Yeah.
And then that's how him and Rand could hook up. And that would be, because I was really going to be bummed out if we didn't get the Rand and Lan, because I think you'll see in this clip, I guess I should probably start it. You'll see, like, you can really feel like, if not fatherly, like uncly, little brother kind of like, I'm going to like make sure that you are as prepared as you can be for what's coming, because it's going to fucking suck.
Well, and I read like I said, I read the fandom on this chapter, so I get the daddy thing.
Okay, so we are Great Hunt, Chapter 1, The Flame of Tar Valon. And it's right after the whole, ages come to pass and it was the beginning. And here we go.
Mountains of Doom. There are neither beginnings nor endings to the turning of the wheel of time, but it was a beginning. The wind blew south across the tangled forest of the Great Blight, a forest tainted and twisted by the touch of the Dark One. It should have been summer by now, but spring had been late in coming, and the land had run wild to catch up. Wind reached the stone-walled town of Faldara on its hills, and whipped around a tower of the fortress in the very center of the town, a tower atop which two men seemed to dance. Stripped to the waist, Randolph Thor shivered at the wind's cold caress, and his fingers flexed on the long hilt of the practice sword he held. The hot sun had slicked his chest, and his dark reddish hair clung to his head in a sweat-curled mat. He strove to keep his mind empty, but the other man sharing the tower top with him kept intruding on the emptiness. 10 paces across, the tower top was, encircled by a chest-high, crenellated wall. Big enough, and more, not to feel crowded, except when shared with a warder. Rand searched Lan's icy blue eyes, hunting for some hint of what the other man intended. The warder never seemed to blink, and the practice sword in his hands moved surely and smoothly as he flowed from one stance to another. The cool peace of the void crept over him, and he was one with the practice sword, with the smooth stones under his boots, even with Lan. All was one, and he moved without thought in a rhythm that matched the warder's, step for step and move for move. For a long minute, the swift clack, clack, clack of bundled laths meeting filled the tower top. Rand made no effort to reach the other man. It was all he could do to keep the warder's strikes from reaching him. Turning Lan's blows at the last possible moment, he was forced back. Lan's expression never changed. Abruptly, the warder's swinging slash changed in mid-motion to a thrust. Caught by surprise, Rand stepped back, already wincing with the blow he knew he could not stop this time. The wind howled across the tower and trapped him. It was as if the air had suddenly gelled, holding him in a cocoon, pushing him forward. Time and motion slowed. Horrified, he watched Lan's practice sword drift toward his chest. There was nothing slow or soft about the impact. His ribs creaked as if he had been struck with a hammer. He grunted, but the wind would not allow him to give way. It still carried him forward instead. The laths of Lan's practice sword flexed and bent, ever so slowly it seemed to Rand, then shattered, sharp points oozing toward his heart, jagged laths piercing his skin. Pain lanced through his body. His whole skin felt slashed. He burned as though the sun had flared to crisp him like bacon in a pan. With a shout, he threw himself stumbling back, falling against the stone wall. Hand trembling, he touched the gashes on his chest and raised bloody fingers before his gray eyes in disbelief. And what was that fool move, sheepherder? Lan grated. You know better by now, or should, unless you have forgotten everything I've tried to teach you. How badly are you? He cut off as Rand looked up at him. The wind. Rand's mouth was dry. It pushed me. It was solid as a wall. Strange things can happen this close to the blight, Lan said finally. But for all the flatness of the words, he sounded troubled. That in itself was strange. Warders, those half-legendary warriors who served the Aes Sedai, seldom showed emotion, and Lan showed little even for a warder. He tossed the shattered lath sword aside and leaned against the wall. No wind had ever felt solid like that. Peace, maybe not even in the blight. For someone like you, Lan shrugged as if that explained everything. Rand stared up at him in surprise. He's acting like nothing happened, and lifted his real sword to his knees, fingers running along the long leather-wrapped hilt inset with a bronze heron. Another bronze heron stood on the scabbard, and yet another was scribed in the sheathed blade. He was a shepherd like his father.
No.
I was a shepherd.
Like, you mean you're like Jesus?
What am I now? I want to learn how to use this. I need to. A heron-marked blade, especially in the hands of a youth barely old enough to be called a man, still attracted the wrong sort of attention. I've been able to bluff sometimes, when I could not run. And I've been lucky besides. But what happens when I can't run? And I can't bluff? And my luck runs out?
You'll just channel.
You could sell it, Lan said carefully. That blade is rare, even among heron-marked swords. He snatched up his own sword, almost the twin of Rand's, except for the lack of herons, and whipped off the scabbard. The blade, slightly curved and single-edged, glittered silvery in the sunlight.
This isn't one of our most exciting clips, but I picked it because it really informs on Lan's character. It informs on Rand's character, the bond that they have where he kind of steps in as a father figure to him. And like, you will see it comes back into play. And when Rand is at his lowest times, Lan ends up being around for him when he needs him, and it's like, there's like it's a pretty small conversation, but it's like he says, just kind of thank you to Lan at a certain point late in the books. He was like, he doesn't even say thank you. He just has a conversation. He was just like, my friend,
Does Lan say anything about or maybe I missed it somehow, but like by me being with you out here makes me kind of your father figure out here? Or am I reading that wrong?
I mean, he doesn't really like say it in so many words. It's just but that's kind of why I picked it. The whole clip itself is just kind of like, Rand is lost, the only person he's really had in his life is his dad. And he's kind of like his hero, his idol, his everything. And then he's had so much stripped away from him in the last few months, the fact that he's not even from where he thinks he's from, that dude's not his dad. The person he thought was his mom is not his mom. And, he wants to know how he got there. But also in the fact that he's like, I just know that, Tam took care of me and he was a good person and he taught me to be a good person and he taught me everything I know. And so he's just having a hard time. And the way that Lan kind of steps in, even Moraine comments a few times, like, I did not expect this from you.
Oh.
And it's like Lan has lost everything. Lan has lost his whole family. So he doesn't.
Was Tam married when he first took on Rand? Like, does Rand have a mother that raised him?
I believe so. Her name is Carrie, and she passed when he was young.
Okay.
So I think, by the time Rand was like 3 or 4, she had died.
Is it mysterious how she died, or is it just doesn't really matter?
I think she just got sick. She just got sick and she died. They don't really, unless that's something I completely missed, I don't think it has any relevance. They try to kind of like, it's really kind of a one-off too. And actually it was funny. I just saw something on Twitter, people talking about how they didn't like this part of the Eye of the World. And I had kind of forgotten about it. I guess I must not have liked it either, but they kind of like show Rand, his mom being tortured.
Oh, like
the dark one, like trying to trick him, like a dream, like a vision of her. And she's like, please help me, son. And it doesn't feel like it fits. You'll be like, that's weird. Especially, at first you're kind of like, okay, but then you forget about it. And then when you go back, if you ever like listen to it again and reread it again, you're like, that, because you've gotten further in the story, like that doesn't really fit. Like, it's not like the whole vision torture thing. They don't really do that a whole lot.
Huh. Weird.
We'll try to mess with you in the world of dreams, but not it's like people who are as strong as Rand in the Power can kind of see through that shit.
Okay. I didn't hear you say World of Dreams. I was thinking almost like a compulsion spell or
Same
something.
thing. So, they do it in the waking world as well. I said you get more of it in the world of dreams. That's why maybe he was there and I missed that in the story, but it's just it doesn't feel like it fits in the normal realm of like either Dreamland or waking world. Like there's very different manipulations between the two. The Tel'aran'rhiod manipulations are much more grandiose and kind of like unbelievable. Like you can kind of see through it as a reader yourself. Like, how do you not? Like, come on,
you know where you are.
Yeah, there's a lot of times when you're like, dude, what? Like, we just spent a fucking 35 pages telling me why this should not happen, and you need to watch out for this, and then it's happening. Come on,
give me something I can hold on.
Don't do dumb shit.
So we'll get to the good questions in a minute. Where are they?
They're in Shinar still. So the place where that last final battle went, where, you know, everybody was going down.
Faldara?
Yeah, basically Faldara.
What's Shinar? Is Shinar like the state and Faldara is the city? Or is Faldara
Yeah, basically. Yeah, that's right. The fortress city of Faldara.
So they haven't gone far. So in the books, they all left. They all left the Eye of the World.
They went to the Eye of the World. They make their way back.
Come back through the Blight.
Yep.
Chilling at Faldara, training, catching their breath, all that shit.
Yeah, I'd say they've been back for like a month, maybe 2. Like you said, you know, you were going to be gone a month ago.
Yeah.
So.
Did Rand actually get cut by the shards that came off?
Yeah, he gets hit. And like usually like when you're doing something like that, it's like, if you think of it as like a lightsaber that shocks you, you're kind of like, you know, you're going to recoil for it. But the wind, which was and this is something else I want to get into.
We'll get into that in a minute.
The wind that kind of stops him, it basically stops him from trying to get away from it, and it snaps and then it breaks.
Oh, okay.
But just kind of splinters into his chest.
Okay.
I think he ends up having to get healed even, actually.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's what I was curious about, because they're kind of carrying on like it's not a big deal. But it seems like it should have been a big deal. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure he's bleeding and shit.
Yeah,
it's like he's like, ow, it's cool. We should probably talk about stuff for a while. This is fun.
Come here, son. Let me tell you.
Here, have a beer. No, wait, no beer for you. We don't drink here. We're warders. Damn it. Give me the usquai.
Do warders not drink?
No, Lan drinks.
The Lan drinks. Okay.
No. Lan drinks. Lan definitely drinks. Remember, he's like, you always get emotional when I drink.
Oh, yeah.
He's like,
that's right.
Shut your dumb mouth. Shut your mouth and take a bath and scrub my back.
Did he say British hair?
What? British hair?
What kind of hair did he say Rand had?
I don't know.
British?
Reddish.
Okay.
Did you say British? You asked me to say British hair?
Yeah, I wrote it down because I'm like,
yeah.
Did he just stumble
you
into
didn't
the
know?
real...
They're in London now.
Yeah, totally. Is this Harry Potter all of a sudden? Like, is this happening in fucking just Eastern Asia? I would love for Robert Jordan to just make a big slip like that. Like, hey, he's got
Oi, governor, let's go to the pub in London.
He's got a jean jacket on, like he's fucking in a Western. Like,
put down your telly.
They do drink a lot of tea. I mean, always stopping for bread, meat, and tea. Fucking.
This is what they're either British or they're hobbits. What about Elevensies? I don't think he cares about Elevensies, Pippin.
Where's third lunch? No third lunches on the long journey to the Eye of the World, I'll tell you that much. You're happy with first lunch.
Sons of bitches.
Let's talk about...
I'm getting a little drunk. I got the giggles. Let's talk about first lunch. Let's talk about fourth whiskey. Yeah.
Let's talk about bubbles of evil.
You son of a bitch. I choked it down the wrong hole. You motherfucker. You beat me to it. I want to punch you now.
Yeah. I did some research. I tried.
Well, okay. So what you have just pulled out of your ass, you jerk, that term doesn't even come up in the books till like book 5.
Yeah.
That's the first bubble of evil you experience. Anytime you kind of you're going to get some weird shit. And this is that wind that's like the jelly wind and kind of held him in place. Anytime the Dark One gets a chance to kind of twist fate or twist chance to try to kill Rand, he does. And that's one of your first examples. And it's not just Rand. It happens randomly. And the more we go along, it's like, think of it as like right now, they can only do like a really just like a hair thin thread that they can just kind of pull one thread of the pattern to see if something happens. And that was that wind. And it cut him, but it wasn't enough, you know? You start getting shit. Matt has one coming up in it might be the 4th book, but I think it's the 3rd book. Actually, that's going to be my next Matt clip. Yeah. He's playing cards with these guys that end up becoming his like kind of army generals, and it's one of my first favorite bubbles of evil. And the cards come alive. The characters on the cards come out and come to like full size, and they're like fighting him, but they're like still like kind of like 2-dimensional. You know what I mean? Because they're like paper thin. One at the same time, Rand is in the Stone of Tyr, and his reflection steps out of the mirror, Or think Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
When Bruce Campbell, all the little Bruce Campbells come out of the mirror. That's what it's like. And the more that like they kill it, like they start trying to stab him, they get more powerful because they're like taking his life essence. It's crazy. It's a really good one.
So can everyone else see it too? Like when Matt's running from the...
Totally. It starts to affect. Yeah, dude, he's drinking with the guys and they're kind of like, it happens so fast. They're all kind of like, we're pretty drunk. What just happened? And Matt's like, are you fucking serious? You didn't, I just stabbed some cards because like as he would kill them and like throw a knife, it would like stick it to the wall and then it would turn back into a regular playing card.
Holy shit.
And they're just like, what are we drinking, bro? But they start like, I think at the same time, Perrin's axe just kind of fucking starts flying around and tries to kill his girl. And he like has to physically restrain it from killing her.
So it's not so much a direct attack as it is someone plucking a strand and just seeing what happens.
Yeah, and then as you get further and further along, it's like, and like, you know, fucking like literal bubbles start popping up and like consuming people, or the ground breaks open and people fall in it, or a swarm of locusts will come and kill everybody, or the ground will just turn into hot lava and everybody melts through it. Like there's all kinds of crazy shit that happens.
So is somebody invoking these attacks, or are these like black holes in the wheel?
Think of them as like something like if this is the pattern and this is the pattern and the creator is here and the dark one is down here. It's like a bubbling cauldron where a bubble pops up and then it like contacts with the pattern thread and then and kind of like, you know, and it's like it happens. There's one that happens, and I believe that this starts from a bubble evil. It's a town called Hinderstap, and it's the one I talked about where like as the sun goes down, they turn into like bloodthirsty zombies, kill each other, rip each other to shreds, and then wake up in their own bed the next day and do it all over again every day. Groundhog's Day. Over and over again. And they're like, you got to get out of here before the sun goes down, to Matt and his group, because like otherwise you're going to be stuck here. And there are some Aes Sedais that get killed and get stuck there.
So once you're resurrected there, that's your existence now.
That's where you live. You can get up and ride. You can ride as far as you can get. There's people who can travel away, end up back there in the morning.
I smell a Time Pop episode.
Dude, Hinderstap Time Pop episode. We're doing it.
Oh, yes.
Crossover show. Let's do it.
Yes.
Like I said, this is Lan, you know, at his finest. And, you know, at this point, like, Rand's like, well, shouldn't even carry this blade. It's like, you're only getting touched like 3 times, and a 4th time was not your fault. And you've been having that thing in your hands for like 4 to 5 months. Like, you've came a long way. Are you a Blade Master yet? No, but he's well on his way. And by the end of this book, he's absolutely a Blade Master because he fights a Blade Master. And spoiler alert, he doesn't lose.
Mm-hmm.
And he's even just like kind of like, oh, I'm going to die. 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 And then he's like, oh shit, I killed him. It's like, what?
Yeah, the blade plus some powers.
A little bit of no. You know what? Rand's pretty legit at first. I mean, he uses kind of the sighting, the oneness to focus, but like he's not a cheater, dude. When he's fighting a sword, like he's an honorable dude. So at this point, Rand is definitely earning his herons. You know, he's definitely has Lan goes on and like starts teaching him how to walk, how to hold himself. Moraine takes away all of his clothes and gives him all these clothes that have dragons embroidered on it. He's like, come on.
Do I have to just... You're making me a target, lady.
And even Perrin and Matter is kind of like, what the fuck are you wearing? Like, are you serious? He's like, they took my clothes. What the fuck am I supposed to do? But then Matt, he starts like wearing like lace on his cuffs and at his collar and stuff. He's like, but it's like he dresses nice, but it's like his clothes are all like wrinkly and shit. He's like, yeah, I dress nice, but like you look like you've slept in that coat for 3 days. He's like,
because I did.
Fucking maybe I have. I like to play dice. What the fuck's your problem?
I'm on a fucking 72-hour dice roll. Leave me alone.
Are you judging me, prick?
In order for me to sleep in this, I'd have to go to bed. So fuck you.
Who's got 2 birds? 2 birds.
Pew 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 pew. I'm betting. I'm trying to figure out how they could do it without rushing too much. I bet if the first episode doesn't end... No, I'm just going to say it. The first episode ends with this scene. I'm going to call it. And then
Or something resembling this scene.
And then the Aes Sedai come towards you, and then that's where the credits roll on episode 1, is when the Aes Sedai.
But how are they going to get Rand back to the city? That's my thing.
Well,
what's going to bring him back to the city?
How? I don't know. I think it'll be a little rushed. If it's not rushed, like, they could even open the first episode with a scroll and just be like, Rand's been wandering.
I kind of wanted him to start on this episode. It would be kind of cool, but like, or start with this scene, but it's like then they're gonna have to like do a, you know, like a Breaking Bad and start at the beginning and the end, you know, like,
see, episode 2 at the latest we get this scene.
Yeah,
but I don't think we're gonna. So I know we've talked about this before. Rand's off wandering. Lan and Moraine, like, do we assume
they're at the Eye together?
That's right. It just ends with them at the Eye, so they technically don't even go back to Faldara. But they'd have to go back to Faldara.
Nynaeve and remember Nynaeve and Egwene barely lived through the attack on Faldara.
Was Perrin wasn't there, was he?
Perrin was hanging mouth agape while they stole the Horn of Valyr with the Loyal.
That's right. They were all at Faldara, except for Matt.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was thinking they were more separated, but he's there in the book, right? Matt's at Faldara.
They're all there in the book. Matt, I just, that's what I mean. You know, we keep getting sidetracked, but it's like I want to know how they're going to bring Matt back in, and they're gonna have to. I feel like he's going to have. I feel like that scene is gonna be how they introduce Gawain and Gilad, and so it's gonna bum me out a little bit because introducing those two new characters there, having not known them beforehand, it's going to steal some of the thunder out of that scene from the new Matt. I think that would be a good way to introduce the new Matt, but then you kind of lose a little about that scene because you're going to be introducing two other important characters.
Yeah, Matt's got to have his own.
You know, maybe they kind of bring you in, you know, they kind of draw you in with the Matt getting fully healed from the dagger. But you got to think, even if Matt's there, the dagger's not. Dagger's in Faldara with the horn and Padan Fain. So they've got a lot of ground to cover, and they do it in the second book. They go from Faldara and they work their way around. They get split up and they end up all back in, well, they end up in Karheen, and then Matt goes on to Tar Valon without them, and then Rand and Perrin go, you know, together with Loyal. But I feel like there's going to be a lot of change in the second season. I'm excited and terrified because I'm sure it's going to be good. I mean, because there's so much good about it, but it's like, I feel like they're going to have to get really creative because they're going to get some departures. If they're trying to move us, unless what we saw a couple weeks ago in the news that we were talking about is maybe very end of season 2, or even the third part of season 2, like the beginning of the third season.
Yeah.
Because that is stuff that, you know, happens late. So they're either going to be moving incredibly fast, or that's got to be the very end, or they're going to be moving like, you know, you're going to have some timelines kind of jump, but there's going to be 4 episodes of stuff happening kind of at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Like they would do that shit in Game of Thrones where it's like, you could never really tell. It was like, was that happening at the same time? And it's like, was that? And it was like, no, I think like they may have to kind of smush some shit together to where it's like maybe Perrin's here, Rand's here, Matt's there. It's just, I don't know how they're going to stick together as much as they do in the first 3 books.
So
with the TV show.
So yeah. So I'm in the book. I'm at Faldara. So they didn't go to the White Tower in the books, everybody out there. Everyone out there who's just seen the show.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
White Tower does not happen. No, they don't go there at all in the first book. I thought they go there for a really short amount of time. Not even all of them.
I thought they were in the town, like, but they didn't go inside. Like, I was confused because I kept waiting for the scenes to happen, like, in the White Tower and, like, all the Aja meeting and us meeting the Amerlin seat.
Yeah, no, you're right, because they get to Camlin and then they hit the ways and go from Camlin directly to Faldara.
Because unlike the show, they're all together the whole time, stealing horses and riding off to the ways.
And they go to the ways outside of Tar Valon in the show, as opposed to the book. So,
who the fuck is the queen, and does it matter?
Queen Morghese is
Because we didn't meet her in the show.
And Gawain's mom.
Oh.
And she's the queen of Andor. And eventually Elaine becomes the queen of Andor. And then Rand is with Elaine.
So, sorry, I'm catching up on everything I read. Like, as we're talking, I'm like, oh yeah, I read that.
Yeah.
So when Rand sees the false dragon, what's his name? Logain. He's watching Logain alone. Or no, he was watching him with Matt. No, he wasn't. No, Matt was still sick at this time. Rand falls backwards off of this fence into
into the fucking royal palace.
I thought was a dream for the first 10 minutes of this scene. And then it just...
You're trying so hard with the dream. And you're like, is this a dream? Is this a dream? I'm going to catch it. It's like...
And then it kept going and it kept going and it kept going. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, when is he going to wake up? Like, when is the concussion going to kick in or whatever? But yeah, Rand just... falls backwards into the...
And he does kind of get a concussion, but that's not a dream, any of it, so...
It's fucking... That was the weirdest thing. Like, that was totally like Robert Jordan just being like, all right, I need to introduce these motherfuckers for later, but what should I do? And it was like a cut scene.
Don't you just love the way they make Gawain talk?
Yeah.
Elaine, sister... And then like Galad talks and stuff, and like it's just like, I'm sick of this chicanery. You're like, shut up, you dick.
So that was weird.
Galad and Rand are half brothers.
Eskimo brothers?
No, not Eskimo brothers. So Rands, they're stepbrothers, maybe. I'd have to look it up, but it's like they share because Tigraine was Galad's father with Morgase. Tigraine was married to Rand's mom. Tigraine was married to Rand's mom, who left him to go be an Aiel.
Oh.
So Rand has a different dad. So they're not really related, but it's like they're one, it's like they're stepbrothers.
They're from the same clan.
Sorta, they're stepbrothers. So Galad's dad was married to Rand's mom. Rand's actual bio dad is an Aielman. So, yeah. I don't know why I got so excited about that. Oh, yeah. That doesn't matter at all. Right.
And now for something completely different.
I work with an extreme Harry Potter nerd, too. She's got a Deathly Hallows tattoo.
Oh, yes.
This poor customer the other day, we said something about this cannabis label looking like the Deathly Hallows symbol. And he's like, what's that? And we're just all both like, well, it's the Elder One and the invisibility. Like me and her, like I said one thing and she said the other. And then like this poor guy is just like, he was an older guy and he was just kind of like, I don't have any fucking idea what you're talking about.
He's like, unless I can smoke this in here, you guys need to shut up.
It was so bad, dude. It was just like, she's like, we're actually not nerds. It's like, never mind.
Yeah, we are.
He's like, my son plays Magic or like Magic the Gathering. He's like, yeah, and we're like, oh, that's cool. Blah 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 blah. And you know what? Here's a fun story. One of the hardest little kids we've ever known, Desmond met this guy, introduced me to him. Like, met him shoulder tapping on the ad. This guy has probably had to stab a couple people to keep from getting robbed. And then I'd be like, hey, bro, I want to get some weed on like a Friday night. He'd be like, oh, man, I'm like LARPing right now. I'll meet you at like 10:30. Or if you want to come down here where we're LARPing. And I'd go and he'd be all like full regalia. And like this little kid was a hood. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Fucking Jigga.
I don't know if I ever knew that.
Shut up.
I definitely never saw it.
Oh, yeah, I saw it. He would be LARPing in his leather jacket and shit.
No way.
I'm not even kidding, but he'd have a big foam sword and spell packets.
That guy is so dope because he's like, what? He's like, I get to fucking hit people with swords. Like, yeah, I'm doing this.
I know. What are you talking about? It's nerdy. I'm going to go hit nerds with swords.
That's the thing, too. He'd totally stand up for it, too. Just like, yeah. Fucking LARPing. Fucking love that kid.
If you somehow hear this, buddy, I hope you're well. I know last time I heard him, he's doing good, man. He got 2 kids.
Fucking Jigga. So one more book thing. Padan Fain. he like
He's a dirt bag with a capital D.
But he like I'm just at the point where Moraine has met with him and like mind melded with him and is now
realizing how fucking he's his own special fucking evil.
Yeah.
Dude, you have no idea, bro. He is a huge part of this series, and he's at least still kind of human now. Dude, by the end, he's like a whole nother entity, man. The Forsaken are afraid of him at the end. They call him the Renegade because he's like, he has these fucking orders that they've like laid on him, like with the power, and like he's literally shouldn't be able to kind of deny or skirt. He should just be, and sometimes he is like a hound dog. He just goes until he's ragged and he's dirty. Like you can tell when they first find him. He looks insane and crazy and stuff. But like, you know, by the end, he
was running with Trollocs and getting carried when he got tired.
Yeah, he's important, but he ends up becoming like his hatred for Rand becomes just all consuming, and he's not even for the Dark One anymore. He just wants to fucking kill people.
I was fascinated with him anyways, and now after
dude, wait till the second book, dude. You think he's scary now, dude? He fucking stakes.
I don't even think that's the thing, is I'm not even that scared of him, right? Well, no, I am.
You should be.
I am, because he's like the Dark One brought him in.
Eyeless are afraid of him, dude.
The Dark One brought him in, but like they don't say it, but it reads like, you're too fucked up for us. Like, you can work for us, but you can't come in the inner circle because you're...
It's like, you're sufficiently evil, but you're also fucking crazy. Padan Fain disappears and starts corrupting White Cloaks at a certain point. He starts fucking bringing Trollocs upon Trollocs back to the Two Rivers to try to get Rand and Perrin to come back.
He's just chaos.
And they won't. Well, Perrin goes back. Yeah, he's chaos. He's Professor Chaos, dude.
Is there... Okay, feel free to wink if this is too much. Does he live outside of the Weave?
That's a good question. And in a sense, like, is he like the Dark One or the Creator? No. But in certain ways, like, he kind of...
Not in a powerful way, but in a chaotic way. Does he live outside of the Weave?
No,
okay.
But he can... He's almost like a Taviran, but in the negative sense, because because he has been possessed by someone called Mordeth in Shadar Logoth, so he's got that kind of like corruptible, like you can't trust anybody. He sours everyone on everyone if he's around them, like Matt was for a while.
Yeah.
And also he's the Dark One's kind of power and touch as well, so he can kind of like, because of Mordeth was a person who lived in the light, but was so twisted by trying to avoid the shadow, they kind of like counteract each other, so he can kind of do his own thing. He starts to corrupt White Cloaks, and then at a certain point, like he's kind of his own entity, even coming into the last battle.
I love it. I'm even happier now than ever that I introduced myself as Padan Fain.
No, dude, he's a really important character, and he's a son of a bitch.
Thank the light, everybody. We will be back. I always forget how I start closing this out. Just thanks for listening, everybody. Holy shit.
Yeah, if you're listening, dude, I hope we keep listening, and I hope fucking someday you guys start talking to us and start doing the show for us. I mean, giving us ideas to talk about.
Yes.
Because I'm sure I can go forever, but, you know, like I want to keep it interesting. So
we're going to talk anyway. So if you have some topics you want us to talk about, if you have some topics you want to come on and talk about, we can maybe make that happen. If you're not crazy, just a little crazy.
Oh, it's cool. The crazy, you can come on. That's fine. We'll have a fucking good time.
If you want to get crazy with Fatty on the Bird app, that's at Parsed Ailment. That is at Parsed Ailment on Twitter. Send your questions and comments and ideas, and you can ask us anything about Wheel of Time. You can ask us anything personal.
Make jokes and I'll steal them on the podcast. It'll be great.
You can be
I'm a plagiaristic motherfucker. I will steal jokes.
You can be our comedy writers. Send.
If it makes me laugh, you're in.
Send your jokes to thankthelight@gmail.com. That is thankthelight@gmail.com. And if you want something else to listen to while you're waiting for the next Thank the Light episode to come out, we have time travel movies on Time Pop. We have comedy and spirituality on All the Answers. We have fitness and nutrition on Truth Not Trends. Just did a great episode today with two cats from London somewhere. I don't know. That fucking show's going international.
Cool.
And awesome women on Be Brave podcast. Check that out at whatsoundsawesome.com or wherever you find fine free shows. And while you're looking for fine free shows, may you always find water and shade.
Peace favor your sword, motherfuckers.
I am not average, I am not ordinary, I am a masterpiece, you know I do it for me. I am not perfect, no that's imaginary, but I'm a masterpiece, you know I do it for me. And all my colors and paints, all my lines and my shapes, every move that I make, I am not basic, it's self-explanatory. I am a masterpiece, you know I do it for me. Ooh, just the way I like it, yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, no.
Mixed and edited by Desmond McNeese for We Mixed It, LLC. Go to whatsoundsawesome.com.
You can't retire if you don't go pro.